Welcome to RadioOnFire.com, home of the Diamond K Show. And now for your urban news and entertainment report. Here's your host, Diamond K.
RadioOnFire.com, Shot97.com. I go by the name of Diamond K. As always, RadioOnFire.com is where you go to hear, our content and all that good stuff. So, without any further ado, I'm joined by a good friend of mine. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Everybody, my name's Duffy. That's probably the best thing you should call me.
Okay. So a lot going on in the news and all that good stuff. So a couple topics that we were talking about off camera that I wanted to touch on. Let's start with your views on Black people, Black Americans being called African Americans, and this is something that you feel needs to stop, correct?
Yes. Basically, we as Americans, have robbed ourselves to a certain degree by continuing to distinguish African, Asian, French, any type of American. When the bottom line is you're born in America, your family, your parents, their parents were born in America, you are an American, period. We need to start fighting for the rights of America versus trying to fight for the rights of Black America, Mexican America, French American. We need to just become Americans and fight for that itself.
Wow. Okay. This would complete the tanning of America. You're talking about Black Americans completely disconnecting themselves with their ancestors in Africa.
Well, no. Here's the thing. A lot of people don't understand. We have already been disconnected from our African heritage.
How?
Because our history in America starts at slavery.
Right.
Our history in America starts at slavery. That's what our history is. If the majority of us, the majority African Americans, cannot pinpoint a person outside of 200-300 years that was born outside of America and brought here as a slave to become an American slave. When the slave masters brought us over here, they didn't bring us over here to become African Americans. They brought us over here at the time to be American slaves, which is why they taught us what they wanted us to know from their culture.
But in a way, and I'm sure that this is not what you're trying to do, but in a way, you're siding with the masters because, as you said, they taught what they wanted to know. It was limited about religion. They didn't want them to read and write. There were so many things that they didn't want them to do that we went later to do, including reading and writing, voting, and all of these number of things. So those things they were wrong about.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
Here's
but
the thing.
They wanted to disconnect them from Africa too. So you're saying they were right about that part, but wrong about the other thing.
Here's what I'm saying. Okay, they disconnected us from Africa. One.
Yeah.
When they did that, they created us a completely different history. Now, since we've been in America, we have overcome everything that they tried to do.
Yes.
Not because we held on to Africa. The people who fought for our freedom, fought for our rights, they did not speak of Africa and freedom in Africa. They spoke of our rights and freedoms in America. That's what they've always fought for. We, over time, have diluted the fight to become black versus white. It wasn't about black versus white.
It was not.
It was about having the equal rights that were outlined in the Constitution. That is what they fought for. To have the
during the Civil Rights Movement.
Yes, that's what the fight was about. It was not about, I want to fight to be considered a Black American.
Well,
I want to fight to become an American.
Let me say this. I don't agree with all of the ideals of the Civil Rights Movement.
Okay.
My problem with the Civil Rights Movement is white is better. That was the mentality, you know. I think that a lot of things were better prior to integration. There was more pride. You had a black doctor, you had a black dentist, you had a black grocery store, you had a black whatever, because you couldn't use the white shit.
Okay.
You had that. So when the civil rights movement came with the, we want to eat the whites only pie. We want to use the white bathroom. And why can't we go to the white restaurant? And they didn't have the pride to build up their own. They wanted to use the white one. And you are continuing with that philosophy, with saying, forget the, that your ancestors are from Africa. We're just Americans now. And them wanting to be treated like the white people were, instead of treating each other better, is the problem.
Let me interject. Here's the thing. You see, as long as we continue to view it as white is right, it's not a matter of saying white is right. It's a matter of saying, again, I'm not talking about a color. A lot of black people are instantly associating this conversation with color. It's not about color. It's about every single person in the United States having the exact same rights that are outlined in the Constitution. It has nothing to do with skin color. The reason we do not, the number one reason that separates us from that is because we insist to, instead of just be known as Americans, to be given a different title of African American. We are the ones who continually drag race into issues. White people.
Whoa.
Wait, hear me out. White people are the only people in the United States that have the ability to be racist. That is because they are in the position of power right now. The thing that black people need to realize is that we are the ones who are the most prejudiced people on this planet.
I disagree with that 131%.
We look at everything as a matter of color.
Where do we get that from?
It is created in our own communities.
No. That's not where it starts.
You don't believe it?
That's not where it started from.
Light skin, dark skin. Google it.
Yeah.
Google it and see how many memes you'll find of light skin, dark skin.
There's plenty.
Where is that created?
That is created from slavery.
That is created from slavery.
Slavery.
Who perpetuates it?
We do perpetuate it.
And how do we perpetuate it?
You can say that we perpetuate it, but you can't say we started it.
I didn't say that. What I said to you we are the most prejudiced people.
And I hate to take it to this point, but it's so deep. Every problem that we have stems from slavery, from the standpoint of the self-esteem.
Okay.
The light skin, dark skin. Where the light skin, dark skin comes from is the house Negroes and the field Negroes.
Okay.
And it was back then. Hold up. Back in slavery time, you had the light skin, dark skin thing. The house Negroes in the house, they thought a lot of times, or were perceived to think, that they were better than the field workers.
And again,
that came from the master.
I never said that we created it. You see that?
But it happened then. It's still happening.
This is what you're interpreting. You're interpreting me telling you that we have problems in our community we create ourselves because of the way we view things. As a prejudiced people, we are always the first ones, whenever something happens, to bring color into it. Because we are prejudiced, meaning
everybody is prejudiced.
Again, that is true. What I said to you is we are the most prejudiced people on this planet.
And I disagree with that.
It's always a matter of color.
Let me tell you how and why that's incorrect. Okay. Asian people generally do business with Asians. Now, they'll sell us shit, but when it comes to the high level business, they're going to do business with other Asians.
Okay.
And they're going to, when they go to eat, they're going to eat at Asian establishments, Asian-run establishments. Mexicans, same thing. Greeks, white people,
and you know what you're
European. No. Now, black people will do business with
the Asians.
Everybody but black people.
You know why?
How is that?
Because I just told you.
But that,
Diamond K, I just told you why.
No, they don't spend their dollar with black people. They spend it down with everybody but a black person.
Understand that. You see, there's that mindset again. Prejudice doesn't just mean that because you think. Prejudice means you believe races are better. That's not saying. That's saying these Asians, we put money into them because we feel like they have better service and products than the black person. That's a prejudice of ours. That's our choice.
Are you saying that this is self-hate?
It's not so much that we self-hate.
If there's a black hair store,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And shout out to April Diva Styles who has a black hair store. But if there's a black hair store, right?
Okay.
On Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Yes, sir.
And there is an Asian hair store right next door on Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Our natural prejudices.
They're gonna go where? Where are those girls gonna go?
Our natural prejudices. They're most likely going to go to the Asians.
And you call that a prejudice?
Yes, because prejudice doesn't.
Now, if they went to the black store, what would you call them then?
That would just be self-pride.
What?
Why can't it just be they just went to the store? Why does the store have to be Asian and black?
Because
that is the way we rationalize
from slavery, and it's been handed down. They were taught
it wasn't
to
handed
hate
down
themselves.
We continued it.
And your theory on
we continued it.
Sure, and your theory. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You want them to be proud of what?
Of being.
That's why they should be African Americans. Because their heritage is of kings and queens.
Tell me one king in from your blood.
I don't know the names, but that part's not important. Let me tell you why that's not important. The part that's the most important is to know that I have knowledge, that I come from a great people. And if those people 300 years ago lived in Africa and they were brought here as slaves and they were conquered and brought here as slaves and we continued our living through the generations here. The fact that I know that I come from a great people who have overcome many things should be enough.
Diamond K, if that were true, it
should be. It should be.
If that were true, explain to me why in Africa slavery and what happened to us in slavery is not taught in their schools. It's because it's not a part of African history.
What do you mean?
Slavery is not taught in Africa. The slavery that happened here in the United States,
right?
What we dealt with, the civil rights movement, none of that is taught in Africa.
Sure.
Because that is not a part of African history.
After all of these years.
What is that a part of?
After all of these years, that's a part of American history, but after all of these years, the separation has been so great and so vast. And of course, as we spoke off camera, Native Africans and African Americans, Black Americans, not necessarily don't have that connection.
Americans,
they don't get along, right?
Right.
Because some people feel as though the tones are different, the customs are different. It's all different.
It's a different place.
That's true.
A different country.
But that doesn't mean that your ancestors are not. If you go back 500 years, right? We go back 500 years. Our ancestors. Some of those Africans that you don't like, the cab drivers, they really could be related to you.
But the thing is,
5 generations ago, y'all got the same.
If you go back
ancestors.
500 years, guess what? You won't see a history of Africa in America.
Sure.
You go back 500 years, you're going to be before slavery. Our history in America.
There was slavery in Africa.
Right. But our history that you will find of our people here now in America did not start until 400 years ago when we were forced to come here. We were disconnected from all of our history then, and it's been that way ever since. Africa itself, at that point, disconnected from us.
This same thing happened in Rome. The Romans went out, they conquered people. They conquered, Germania, which is Germany, and they conquered Britannia, which is Britain, and made these people Roman citizens, right? So now you're not Germanian, you're Roman, and they were, they were good. We want the rights of Romans. So there were people that wanted to stay connected with their heritage of Germany. You're saying you're Romans. Our people were conquered, and you want to cut the last tie.
Our people weren't conquered.
Oh, no.
No.
They were conquered.
Stop.
We
Right
didn't come
there.
here
Stop right
willingly.
there.
We were conquered.
Stop right there. If I take 2 people out of your family from your family, did your family get conquered? No, sir.
What do you mean, 2 people?
2 people in your family got conquered. The amount of people that were taken from Africa was not the entire Africa, my friend.
Correct.
Africa was not conquered. Stop. It's still there. It's been flourishing
Sure.
since.
I don't know about flourishing.
Some surviving. Some people were taken from Africa, but that does not
tribes of people and a lot of people were taken.
That does not mean that Africa was defeated. There is where you're wrong. Some of us we may have lost battles. Some Africans may have lost battles, which is why we were over here. But Africa was not defeated.
Here's the thing. Your definition of defeated and my definition of defeated obviously are 2 different things. There are different levels of defeat. The Indians were wiped off of North America.
Yes.
Now, Indians, they couldn't make them slaves, and they tried.
Yes.
The Indians were strong people. They fought, and they, had to be eliminated. The black Americans, the black people, the African Americans, the descendants of the Africans, we said, hold. No, we'll bale the hay. And we were able to be conquered. The reason why was because we were get along, go along. Okay, it's all cool. And that's those same traits have allowed us to continue to be conquered.
And that's why
we were prisoners.
This is why we need to change the way we think.
I agree with that.
As long as we continue to hold on to things that kept us in the position we are in, we will continue
unity. We were conquered because we were not united.
Like I said to you off camera, what's more united? When you look at an application and it doesn't ask you if you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, or when you look at the application and it says that, which one shows more unity?
I don't think that the application and unity is even an issue.
That shows the unity of our country.
But if you don't put it on there, I mean, the reason why they have those things is because they want to keep data, they want to keep statistics, and they want to be able to see who's what, who's applying, all that kind of shit.
On the surface.
Because they can easily tell you not put it on there, and then come in for the interview, and I can see you're black, and I don't want to hire you. So then what?
That's on the surface. You see, everything is a constant reminder of what they want us to believe. Everything. It's positive, what they call positive reinforcement. If I continuously tell you there's a separation, you're always going to believe there's a separation, even when there's not.
That's true. I agree with that.
It's like when they do that experiment where they chain someone up and then they take the chains off and the person still sits there. It's because this is what we were conditioned to see and understand. But what happens if we now condition to see that we aren't separated by a color or a race? We are all considered American.
How do you eliminate everything that happened before that by just saying now that we're not?
Like I said to you off camera, when we leave outside of the United States, it doesn't matter what place on this planet we go. We are called, regardless of the color of our skin, what we say, we are called, we are treated, and we considered American, period. We don't have a prefix to it. We are just American. If the rest of the world has acknowledged the fact that this is America, why can't we?
Well, this is the greatest country in the world, and this country is different from those other places.
The belief of America is the greatest thing in the world, not this place. Get that fact through your head.
Well, let me say this last thing on this. The Constitution that you spoke about earlier was created not for us.
And I agree.
We were slaves. Our ancestors were slaves, rather. Before and during the creation of the Constitution and many amendments of the Constitution.
Okay, I agree.
It's not for us.
Right.
We got to try to get in where we fit in because it was not created
But that's why our ancestors, our ancestors fought for. They fought to be treated like the person that was outlined in the Constitution because we were not treated that way.
Right.
That is what they fought for.
Do you agree with that fight?
I agree with that. I've said that to you before.
I mean, you think that was the right fight?
Right. That was the right fight, to be treated as a person,
Yeah.
Because we were treated as less than a person,
Yeah.
less than a dog. So yes, to be treated as the person that is outlined in the Constitution, that was good for us.
Radio on Fire is a digital network covering breaking news, sports, and entertainment. Check out our daily programs, articles, and all types of exclusive urban content right now at radioonfire.com.